preacher, you may not understand what he's saying. I'm going to tell you after this. He's a known preacher on social media and even off social media. He is a known supporter, sympathizer of the terrorists killing people in Nigeria. And guess what? You may actually think this charlatan, as well, who is actually a terrorist himself, right? You may think he's doing this because of his, because he's a Muslim. Oh, he's doing it for Islam, right? Now, he is a good example of what the extremists are, who are hiding behind religion, and why those of you who are moderate, those of you who are not, jihadists in mind, those of you who are not interested in killing your fellow man just to prove the supremacy or the superiority of your own religion, right? You should condemn people like this. Because you know what he's saying, right? He's not just against those of you who are infidels, who are non-Muslims. He's also calling for the killings of his fellow Muslims in northern Nigeria. He has a name for them. Let me check. He has a name for them. And it is so sad that somebody like this, and people like this are just a replica of so many of these 8 preachers in northern Nigeria who are fueling the terrorism Nigeria is battling with today, right? So to those of you who are northerners, right, this man you are about to watch is saying that it is better, far, far better and beneficial to live with the Fulani terrorists as well as Boko Haram than to live with the Darikas, the Tijaniyas, and any other sect that practices what these other sects are practicing. They are all Muslims, so on video.
Shi yasa muke faɗawa mutane muke cewa da ƴan bid'a a gari gara ƴan bindiga a gari. Hanya kun gane karatun ko? Ba ki gane ba? ƴan bindiga masu kashe mutane kidnappers to da malaman bid'a a gari gara ƴan bindiga a gari. Anya yanzu kin gane ba? Shi yasa
it is better to live with kidnappers than to live with the people he called Yambida. I've been a Yambida. He considered them as worse than those they called the infidels. They are fellow Muslims. So when they tell you that Muslims are also being killed in northern Nigeria, it is not a lie. But who are the Muslims being killed? And who are those killing them? So when they try to convince you that Donald Trump coming to Nigeria, Donald Trump sending American troops to Nigeria to come and combat this extreme Islamist is an indirect attack on the Muslims, or calling it a Christian genocide is an indirect way saying that the Muslims are killing Christians. Those who are pushing the narrative, those who are pushing that into your head, go and check them very well. They are those who are in closet support of the terrorists. But they can only convince you because you share the same religion. But they won't hesitate to kill you in the course of their cleansing. When they kill the infidels, and you think, oh, now you have an Islamic Republic of Nigeria, then that is when you are going to realize that where there is no Christians to kill anymore, or non-believers to kill anymore, that is when it will become your own turn, because it's already happening. So when Gumi and the likes are trying to make you believe that an attack on these terrorists or a threat to come and get rid of them is a threat against Nigeria, is a threat against Islam, they are recruiting you to join their sympathizers. And in your own mind, you will do anything to defend Islam. But these ones will kill you once they have their way, by the way, just so you know. And that's why you have to condemn them. Do not see any of this as a direct attack on your religion, because those who want you to believe that are not actually in the same book, in the same kind of like a page. So going forward, the women in southern Kaduna, despite all they have been through in the last decade, they seemed to remain kind of like strong-willed, right? Enough in their own, what they call the space. They are called the Ekwa women. For those of you who attended Ekwa in the middle belt part of Nigeria, this is going to resonate with you, I believe. I mean, you won't possibly believe that these are the people who have been through hell and back. They are not out of the trenches, but still in the midst of all of that misery, they still have the time to praise their God, say it that way, strengthen themselves in fellowship. It's in fellowship. Anyway, let's leave the security and the rest of that so that we are not completely out of other stuffs. So this time politics. So today, Atiku officially picked his ADC membership card, meaning he's now officially a member of ADC, paving the way for him to also pick up his presidential ticket form, for the party for 2027, by the way. However, when he finished signing up at his Jada constituency, Jada ward in Adamawa, he declared that at this point, APC must go. That's so kind of like common, right? People have been saying that since 2019. So Atiku has rebuffed that today, and that is captured on camera. You want to see?
Wisdom, come here, come here. Thank you so much. Jamia Abani, Excellency Ashatwa, Senator Ishiaku Aboba Balade, akwai distinguished Senator Baraka hali yanzu, akwai Modibo Tuko a hali yanzu gaba daya suna nan, my leader, National Youth Leader of our great party, Balarabe, shi ma yana cikin wannan tsari. Thank you sir. Zonal Youth Leader, Assistant Excellency Ashatwa zai miƙa masa nufi a hali yanzu. Thank you jama'a ku zo ku taba masa. Mun gode, thank you. A hali yanzu ya karbi kati sai ya daga jama'a ku taba mai kuma. Kowa ya je ya zauna. Kowa ya je ya zauna.
Bari in gaya muku daga yau na fara faɗa kenan da jam'iyyar APC a zalumar jam'iyya. Sai nan da muka kore ta. Ba mu taɓa yin jam'iyya wanda ta cuci 'yan Najeriya, ta azabar da 'yan Najeriya, ta talautar da 'yan Najeriya, ta kawo rashin zaman lafiya a Najeriya kamar jam'iyyar APC ba. Don haka da goyon bayan ku za mu ba ku cikakken shugabanci wanda zai kawo canji a wannan ƙasar. Musamman matasa da mata, ku faɗakar da jama'a su fita su yi zabe, bayan an yi zabe kuma a kare, a tsare, a tabbatar da ba canja ba. Duk wani wanda ya ce zai canja mana sakamakon zaben mu, to sai dai mu san inda za mu kai. The great youth of Nigeria. Great. 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 Greatest. If we lend ourselves to innovation, we can create wonders. Yeah, it's a successful again, a town hall, different from Blue Bulaba.
So that was Atiku there, ready to confront Kolu again. And others are pretty much asking, what about Obi? Even though people are saying that, are you sure Peter Obi himself is even going to run for president again? You know what I mean? Like, well, a lot of questions. But the coming days, weeks, and even months would unravel all of that. So no rush. We should just keep keeping record. PDP, on the other hand, have lashed at Tifnumbu over the situation of the insecurity situation in the country. Let's add that to it before we go to the tutorial, a free tutorial, legal tutorial given to Apathy in their right studio concerning the travesty, miscarriage of law, miscarriage of justice against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That's going to be next, but the PDP.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is a press conference we'll be addressing. I'm being joined by the Deputy National Secretary of our party and the National Vice Chairman South. This press conference is on insecurity and without leading security, Tinubu surrendering to terrorists. Under the APC-led Tinubu administration, Nigerians have witnessed, especially in the last week, a spate of kidnappings in different states. 25 students in Kebbi and more than 315 students and staff in Niger states, in northern Nigeria. Each of these kidnappings leaves a trail of sorrow, tears, blood, fear, and deep anguish on the families of those affected and their communities. In response to this, different state governments in the affected region have taken disparate measures, while the federal government has yet to give any concrete direction. We are aware that the closure of schools in these areas is already being implemented by some state governments and is currently being contemplated by the federal government. We warn that this closure, if undertaken, like many of this administration's quick fix approaches to serious governance issues, will amount to a complete surrender to terrorists whose sole aim is to shut down schools and prevent children from obtaining formal education, which they declare as forbidden. If the schools are closed, the goal of the terrorists would have inadvertently been achieved. Rather, we urge the federal government to develop a comprehensive plan to combat the issue, instead of resorting to a simplistic approach of closing schools in a bid to prevent further kidnappings and to score cheap political points, quite characteristic of this administration. This alarm is crucial because a closure of schools will exacerbate the already challenging educational situation in northern Nigeria, where, according to UNICEF, majority of the 18.3 million out-of-school children in Nigeria reside there. This data not only paints a grim picture, but also mirrors the exact situation in Nigeria. The series of attacks and kidnappings in different states within a week is indicative of the alarming insecurity that has become the contemporary lived experience and the new reality of Nigerians under the APC-led Tinubu administration. More troubling is the fact that when these unfortunate incidents happen, the administration's response is usually lackluster and unempathetic. For example, instead of the president visiting Kebbi and Niger states to meet with and sympathize with the parents of the children who are in captivity and to address the security personnel there to boost their morale, he merely directed the Minister of State for Defense to relocate to Kebbi. A juxtaposition of the contingent sent by this same president to the US Congress and the G20 meeting with Matawale's lone envoy exposes the levity with which the president treats this matter. This reaction by government is most insensitive, and we must repeat, it is most insensitive and dismissive of the gravity of the problem at hand by the APC-led federal government. We charge the federal government strongly to immediately fund and implement the national policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools, anchored on credible community intelligence and quick security response, capable of anticipating and contending with attack on schools. Insecurity in schools will be a big disincentivization for education in the country, especially in northern Nigeria. We're already not standing very strongly on the education foundation. Insecurity to schools will completely take us out on that framework. We again remind the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the entire APC-led federal government that the security of lives and property is the primary function of any government. And at any time, such a government, or any government whatsoever, is unwilling, unable, or incapable of executing this primary role of the security of lives and property, such a government must either ask for help locally or internationally, or honorably resign, if that government is sincere and responsible. That's our position on this matter, and we urge that the federal government and indeed state governments should take this very seriously. The closure of schools does not, will not now, not in the future, augur well for the children and the future of this country. Now, the benefit of hindsight is that it has happened before. What we are facing is not new. And as at the time Chibok girls happened, the current president proffered solution. And as at NBA conference some years ago, the vice president said that he will be fighting from the front. This offers an opportunity. Nigerians bought into that story, and this offers an opportunity for that. Now, going to that, we are not, the academic calendar globally is not going to change because we are having insecurity. And therefore, children who have not been contributors to insecurity cannot be made to suffer. Gentlemen.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be juju be that. Sorry, oh. May God not allow them, make them kill you.
He made so many valid points. But he's just talking to the world. People who didn't care about the children who were displaced 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, even as recent as 2 years ago, whose lives have been altered, their entire life trajectory have been altered by this terrorism. They have been relocated from their, and they didn't like go back to school. They ended up in refugee camps. So government that didn't care about that, government that